Welcome back to the Swamocast. Once again, I am Bullfrog. Gotta tell you, I'm kind of frustrated this week. I got me a nice new microphone, and turns out it's useless without a 48 volt power phantom power supply, which I ordered down on Amazon, and well, I won't have that until next Tuesday. So one more time, I gotta record the Swamocast on my cell phone, which I really hate doing. So, but enough babbling. Let's jump on into our first segment. So the Senator Elizabeth Warren saga has been quite the hot ticket this week. In case you live under a rock, for many years now, she has been claiming to be a Native American. Well, recently she sent her DNA to be tested, and it turns out she is 0.000001% Native American. And she's doubling down, saying, yeah, see, look, I am Native American. Well, experts say that she actually has less Native American blood than an average white American. Now, this raises a question for me. Why is it that if we have this white privilege, which is bullshit, why do we have these white people who are claiming to be minorities? Now we got Sean King, aka Talcum X, who is claiming to be black. And then there was Rachel Dolezal, a white woman also claiming to be black. And then you got Elizabeth Warren claiming to be Native American, despite the fact all three of these people are obviously whiter than Frosty the freaking Snowman. I'll tell you why. It's because they want those sweet depression points and to take part in those diversity quotas. In today's social climate, being white is just demonized. If you're white, you're the freaking devil. Now, it's all good if you want to be proud to be black or proud to be Hispanic. In fact, the left will cheer you on. But don't you dare say it's okay to be white. I have an open letter to SJWs. This is not about ponage. I'm honestly trying to help. Now, people like me, we realize that there are real things that happen in this world. There's people who go through real pain. People who have been to war. People who spend years in prison. People out living on the streets, eating out of the garbage, drinking themselves into oblivion because they can't deal with reality. Now, all the while, you're complaining about culture appropriation, complaining about white privilege, male privilege, and all this other BS. Or you're complaining because you're so triggered because somebody on the internet called you a poopy head and now you need your safe space. This is why people make fun of you, it's why we mock you, and most importantly, this is why nobody respects you. So last week, a somalian man was about to be deported from the UK when passengers on the plane that he was on started to freaking protest and scream, you can't separate him from his family, and all this other, bullshit. And what they may or may not have known, this man was convicted of participating in the gang rape of a 16-year-old girl. Yes, now, notice I said convicted, not accused. Their protest was successful as they did remove the man from the plane. As these supporters apparently had started to applaud. Without knowing any of the actual facts, people just want to jump in and virtue signal and show how wonderful people they are. It's quite pathetic. So YouTube has a new algorithm. They're actually going around to delete comments on videos that are actually deemed offensive. Yeah, people's comments now. So I think this is going a little bit too far, but not really much we can do about it because, YouTube doesn't have any real competition. There is Dailymotion and BitChute and whatnot, but they don't have anywhere near the audience that the YouTube platform has. Now, what's going to take is enough people to get sick of this bullshit, to move away from YouTube and move over to get to BitChute or Minds or Gab or Dailymotion. However, I don't see that in the foreseeable future. However, eventually maybe it will. So we'll just have to see what happens. Why don't we do a little more of a fun segment? As you may or may not know, I'm an old head. I'm currently 40 years old, and once you get to be my age, you start to reminisce about the good old days and become quite nostalgic. I like to reminisce about the good old 90s, back when grunge was a big thing, and bands like Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana were quite the hot ticket. And the internet, as we know it back then, was pretty shitty. Anybody who was around in the 90s remember this shit called OK Soda? Yeah, I haven't thought about that in quite a while. I remember what it tasted. It was like some kind of mixture of different shit. I don't know what the hell it was. And man, that shit. Wonder what happened to that though. But they used to have this hotline you could call 1-800-OK. It's 1-800-I-FEEL-OK. Anybody remember that? Yeah, that was some weird shit. I remember back then, though, cell phones, especially back in the 80s, when I was a little kid, cell phones used to be these big, huge bricks, and they were expensive as hell, and Only rich people had them. And in the 90s, most kids didn't have cell phones like they do today, though. But if you were a kid who had a cell phone, you definitely had some rich parents. And back then, all it was a phone. That was it. Compared to the smartphones they have today, well, it's quite a difference, ain't it? Even though back then, when I was a kid, I used to be completely miserable. But today, thinking back, though, but I don't know, I just have that nice magical feeling about those old times, though. So, were you around back in the 80s and 90s? Tell me what your favorite memories of those good old times are. So, time for my favorite part, the comedy segment. So, I have a little joke for you. One day, Jimmy and Tommy were out fishing, and so Jimmy suddenly has to take a piss, so he just decides to whip it out and piss right there in the lake, and, well, a poisonous snake jumps up and bites him right on the dick. So Tommy runs and goes to the nearest payphone and calls the doctor and says, "Hey, my friend just got bit by a poisonous snake. What do I do?" Doctor tells him, "Well, you gotta put your mouth over the wound and suck out the poison. Just keep sucking the poison out and spit it back out." So Tommy runs back to Jimmy, and Jimmy says, "Oh my God, what did the doctor say?" He says, "Doctor say you're gonna die." Right, well, that'll do it for the Swamocast for this week. Next week, I'll actually be able to use my new microphone, and so probably feel a lot less awkward and feel more like a real DJ. So next week, we'll definitely have much higher audio quality. So thanks for listening to the Swamocast. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll have the link in the description. I'm Bullfrog. Thanks for tuning in.